The decision to buy or not to buy your lighting equipment is a tough one. Whilst long-term financial savings can be expected from regular use of purchased equipment, hiring offers the very latest kit that's sure to enhance your production for a fraction of the cost.
Hi, I'm Brian Raven. I'm Managing Director of White Light. I've been with the company for 25 years. Like most people, I've come from a background of amateur theatre, working backstage at amateur shows, school productions, and most of the staff here have come through that background, and we recognise that that's where a lot of people actually get their experience and fall in love with working on theatre and theatre lighting.
Hi, I'm Martin Palmer, Business Development Manager here at White Light, and I'm going to be taking you through some new products to either hire or buy. This fixture here will give you lots of colour wash through an LED light source, so it's using very little power. Also has the ability to change colour without changing the gel through standard RGB colour mixing. Again, with moving light technology, this is moving on at an alarming rate at present, with fixtures getting brighter and brighter and smaller. Most hire companies will now hold the most up-to-date product. We have fixtures here that do spots and profiles, similar to what you would have had on a tungsten profile fixture, with the ability for them to move and animate their effects. We also have now high output wash lights. These again move into position and can be moved during the show.
Certainly getting your hands on the new technology is part of the buzz if you're technically minded and being involved in amateur dramatics, actually being able to use the latest kit. One of the advantages of being able to hire equipment is generally you can normally work with your local hire company who will be able to supply the latest kit rather than maybe equipment that lives in the theatre and is 10, 15 years old.
And it's not just lighting fixtures that are available to hire. The very latest desks and controllers are also on offer.
Okay, basically this is an example of one of our computerised lighting desks. So it's different in the sense that it's just a two-way preset board. So traditionally where you had basically two fader banks and you were controlling your lights using those, this actually uses a computer within the desk. And it allows you to use more complex fixtures like moving lights and LEDs, which are more complex to actually operate on faders. You actually do need to have a program and a computer to run them. All the attributes within the desk, within the lights, you can actually control. So I can select colour, and then these three encoders here become cyan, magenta and yellow. I can then adjust the various parameters, various levels of each of these encoders to change the colour of the unit. We've also got a colour picker in the desk, which I can basically just point at a screen to mauve, to blue, to green, to yellow, and it will just do it for me. Within the desk there's a complete fixture library for Lee, for Roscoe, for GAM. So if you say you wanted Lee 058, I can just click on that and it will go straight to Lee 058. So that's another nice feature of the board. Once I like that and I think that's a good state, nice and simple, record button, cue, and whichever cue you want to record, so say 250, enter. That is now recorded in the desk, and basically what you do with these desks is record a series of different cues and then you play them back using a go button. And that's all done on the desk within the computerised system. With a more manual desk, you'd have to basically have a fader for each different parameter in that light. So you'd need a fader for dimmer, a fader for pan, a fader for tilt, a fader for gobo. However, with a computerised system, you've actually got everything built in, so you can actually see what it's doing, and it's nice and quick to program.
And certainly a control desk is an obvious investment because you're going to use that in every show. Almost the last thing that any theatre company should be buying is the actual lights, because there is such a huge range available and everyone wants different lights for different shows. Because if you're doing an Ibsen play, you want different type of lighting to do in Wizard of Oz. Whereas you still need the same infrastructure and you still need the same control desk and so on. So, and again, as a rental company, I would say that, but renting the equipment gives you much more flexibility on the end units.
This is an example of one of the virtual consoles. So it's purely on software, so you can load the software into your PC, into your laptop, and it will output data via DMX through your USB port. Nice and simple, basically you can download it off the internet. Software packages like this start from just under £1,000, so it represents a low-cost solution. In a similar way to all the main desks. You've got options here to actually be able to control the intensities. Also got full control on the gobos. Basically every parameter in the light I can play with. Also on position, I can move that around so I can adjust the pan and tilt on the light. Also got virtual faders as well. One of the VX20 virtual fader boards. So I can record different cues, different lights on the submasters here, and as I bring them up, the lights will come up. So again, you don't actually need a physical fader board, you can actually just bring it up on the screen.
Renting versus buying generally depends on whether you own your own venue. If you've got a venue where you can use that equipment 10, 15, 20 times a year and have a show every couple of weeks, then buying makes more sense. And then you just use your rental budget for bringing in the toys or the expensive special effects just for the 1 week of the show. If you're like a lot of groups where you have to just, you rent a venue just for the week of the show, then not only you've got the cost of buying the equipment initially, you've got to store it, you've got to maintain it. Electrical equipment needs regular testing, and that brings a whole cost overhead in itself.
But what can we do with our old and redundant lighting equipment when thinking of upgrading or investing in lighting?
Part of our sales package, we will offer a trade-in on some products, or we can offer a disposal service on other products, making sure they're disposed of correctly, as in the WEEE regulations, broken down with lamps being taken away and disposed of in accordance with those new regulations.
And if buying new just isn't an option, what should you look out for when buying second-hand equipment?
When buying second-hand equipment, it really is buyer beware. There's currently lamps being discontinued. You may find you end up buying a fixture with a lamp that is no longer available. Why are the people getting rid of those fixtures? Is it because they can't service them themselves anymore? Has the manufacturer gone out of business? Are they getting rid of them because they're not really performing? Have they had the best out of that fixture and it's not actually going to give you any light for your money anymore? And also think about the types of fixture. There's no point buying a 2 kilowatt Fresnel to use on a village hall stage. One, you're probably not going to have the power on the front end to actually supply that lamp with that much power. And also it's going to be far too big. If you're operating in a stage which is 6 meters wide by 3 meters deep, one of those lights is going to cover the entire stage and probably intrude onto the stage as well.